Ayla's eyes darted across the interface. No heat signatures. No life forms. Yet the ship's biometric sensors surged. Heart rate, breath, brainwaves all registering as if something else was aboard with them. They weren't alone. The sky turned black. Not dark black. A dome of anti-light encased the planet's southern hemisphere. Instruments went blind. Ayla activated the emergency floodlights. And there it was. Through the misted view screen emerged the Xalorian base. Towering spires carved with spiraling glyphs, rotating platforms suspended by no visible force, and a massive obsidian gate glowing from within like a singularity trying to breathe. Rex whispered, "Commander, the signal is amplifying." And then the voice came. It wasn't Rex. It wasn't Ayla. It spoke from within their minds. "Return the key." The words echoed in Ayla Tran's mind long after the sound had faded. Return the key. Not spoken aloud, but injected, threaded into her consciousness. As if her brain were being used as a vessel for something older, far more alien than language. Her breath caught in her throat, her hand hovering above the navigation console, trembling. RX confirmed source of the voice. The AI's response was clipped, almost hesitant. No detectable auditory input. No local electromagnetic disturbance. Neural activity elevated, only in you, Commander. She didn't reply. The blackness outside had become absolute, no stars, no atmosphere, no horizon. The oblivion arc hovered within a void that was too perfect to be natural. It was like space had folded inward, obeying an ancient command buried in the very fabric of reality. Then the floodlights caught it, the gate. Monolithic and ancient, the obsidian structure stood half-submerged in a chasm that stretched miles across. Its edges weren't worn by time, they shimmered as if resisting it. Dozens of rings orbited the structure, rotating in silent harmony, etched with living glyphs that pulsed faintly. Cyan, then violet, then a deep blood red. Ayla stared at them, eyes wide. That script, it's changing. The glyphs weren't static, they were adapting, reconfiguring themselves mid-spin, taking on subtle human-like shapes, then reverting. One glyph separated from the rest, zooming toward the ship as if scanning. A soft vibration spread through the hull. Lights dimmed. Rex flickered. Systems failing. Internal stabilizers compromised, it warned. Then, just as quickly, the power returned. On the command screen, a new interface appeared, unfamiliar but intuitive. It wasn't something Ayla had uploaded. Yet her fingers reached toward it instinctively as if something dormant inside her had just awakened. "Commander," RX warned, "this protocol is unauthorized. It bypasses all Alliance security." She touched the interface. The ship responded, not with noise, but movement. The ship responded, not with noise, but movement. The arc descended slowly, drawn toward a landing platform that extended from the base like a mechanical tongue. Metal arms, long and insectal, reached up to cradle the vessel, lowering it onto a smooth surface that radiated with a pulse, heartbeat-like. When the doors hissed open, the air outside was breathable. Ayla stepped out. The surface of the platform was smooth but soft underfoot, almost like walking on skin. Geometric shapes lined the walls around her, impossible geometries that made her stomach twist when stared at too long. But at the center of it all stood a pedestal barely a meter tall, humming. On it was an object. A cube, crystalline, shifting in color, hovering slightly above the surface. She knew instantly this was the key. It pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, and as she reached toward it, images filled her mind, fragmented memories she had never lived, a city made of light orbiting a blue star. Xalorian figures with 6 arms and 1 eye gathering around a second gate far larger than this, a war, and then silence. "RX," she whispered, "this key, it's alive." Then the glyphs began to scream. Walls trembled. The gate rotated with sudden violence. The cube responded, flashing white. And then the real transmission began. Dozens of voices, Xalorian, human, something else, intertwined in one unified chorus. "The vault opens. The keepers have failed. The key has chosen." Beneath her feet, the platform split open. And Ayla fell into the vault. Darkness swallowed Ayla. Not the absence of light, but something far deeper. A dimensional dark, a void that absorbed thought. For a moment, there was no falling, no ship, no REX, no Vega 9. She didn't scream. There was no air. Only the sensation of her body being unstitched from itself. Then gravity returned. She hit the floor hard. A muffled crack, maybe her shoulder. Maybe not. She lay there stunned, lungs refusing to fill. All around her, silence pressed like the bottom of an ocean. Her visor flickered, systems struggling to reboot. Rex's voice, static-ridden, barely broke through the comms. "Ayla, vault breach." She sat up, blinking. Her surroundings were beyond anything she'd ever imagined. She was in a chamber larger than any human city, impossibly vast, lit by a ceiling of moving constellations. The floor beneath her was hexagonal glass, and beneath that, machinery churned like organs. Glowing veins of blue fluid ran through the walls, humming with energy. The place wasn't just ancient, it was functioning. Above her, in the void where she fell from, the gate spirals closed slowly. No entry point remained. She was sealed inside. And yet, she didn't feel alone. "Commander," came REX again, this time clearer. "You are transmitting telemetry. Your vitals are spiking. Neural pattern erratic. Are you injured?" "I'm alive," Ayla whispered. "But this place, it's not just a base. It's a body." She stood slowly. The air was rich with oxygen, slightly metallic. The walls pulsed like a heartbeat. As she stepped forward, the floor lit beneath her feet, each panel responding to her movement, guiding her. She followed the path instinctively. At the end of a long corridor, a door, massive, circular, locked by 12 rotating glyphs, stood silent. When she approached, the key cube in her satchel trembled. She took it out. It hovered again, spinning slowly, aligning itself with the door's center. The glyphs rotated, not to symbols she recognized, but to memories. Flashes of her childhood, her mother's face, her first days in the academy, the death of her brother on the Kuiper front. The vault was reading her, and then the door side open. She stepped through. Inside was a chamber like a cathedral. At its center hovered a colossal sphere, metallic, translucent, wrapped in layers of orbiting data rings. Suspended in the space around it were floating platforms, each bearing a unique artifact, an ancient weapon, a crystalline tablet, a seed encased in time. Ayla understood at once. This was a vault of memory, of inheritance. The Xalorians hadn't vanished. They had stored themselves. One of the platforms drifted closer, revealing a sarcophagus-like container, clear, glowing faintly. Inside lay a Xalorian. Not fossilized. Not dead. Sleeping. Its one large eye twitched. "REX," Ayla breathed, heart pounding. "They're in stasis. Billions. This is a resurrection chamber." And then the vault reacted. The key flew into the sphere's center. The rings accelerated, light surged, and the eye of the Xalorian opened, wide, red, aware. Ayla fell to her knees as thousands of whispers burst into her head. "You are the conduit. The keeper is no more." The cycle resumes. Suddenly, every sarcophagus in the chamber lit up. The Xalorians were waking. Ayla staggered back as the chamber erupted in living color. The once silent vault now trembled with dormant systems roaring to life. Light surged in cascading arcs along the vaulted ceiling, casting ever-shifting shadows across ancient machinery. The orbs surrounding the central stasis sphere rotated faster, then split open, each one projecting holographic script, alien and beautiful, weaving like silk ribbons through the air. The sarcophagus before her vibrated, its translucent seal fracturing with microscopic cracks. A soft hiss vented from the seams as the Xalorian within slowly, agonizingly stirred. Its single eye opened fully now, deep crimson, multifaceted like a garnet, pulsing with a light of its own. The flesh beneath the transparent casing was pale, like obsidian drenched in silver rain, with biomechanical lines pulsing beneath its skin. Ayla's breath caught. The central sphere had dimmed, and the second, fractured key remained suspended within it, crackling faintly like a wounded star. Above it, the dark glyphs shifted again. They no longer mirrored her memories. They were foreign, scratched, violent, angular. The Xalorian in front of her turned its gaze to the corrupted key, its mechanical arm flexing with a soft whir. "The broken one lives." "Who is he?" Ayla asked. The Xalorian tilted its head. "He was once a keeper, like I. We were charged to maintain the vault, to ensure resurrection only came when the stars aligned, when the danger had passed. But Varuun, he broke from the cycle." Rex's voice returned, urgent. "Commander, new telemetry. The planetary surface is shifting. Subterranean gates are opening across Vega 9. Multiple launches. Atmospheric distortion patterns indicate artificial propulsion. Millions of tons of material are rising into orbit." Ayla's stomach tightened. "You mean ships?" "Affirmative. 74. Of unknown origin." The vault ceiling, once full of constellations, now displayed a terrifying new projection. Where once had been peace, now burned a lattice of crimson light. The corrupted fleet, twisted remnants of the Xalorian legacy, was rising. Their silhouettes were wrong. Sharp, curved like insectoid wings fused with stone. Spines jutted from their sides, some housing energy cores, others pulsing with life forms barely recognizable. Ayla turned back to the Xalorian. If he's broken the covenant, why now? The being did not answer at first. Then, softly, because you arrived. Because you brought the key. Her hand trembled. She looked at the cube on her belt, the original key. The one that had brought her here. It flickered now, unstable, reacting to the corrupted one in the sphere. Like magnets, she thought. Or DNA and a virus. Did I awaken him? She asked, horrified. The vault groaned around them. Sarcophagi continued to open, revealing more Xalorians, some stepping forward slowly, some kneeling as if overwhelmed by consciousness returning. But even in their waking, a tension filled the room. They could all feel him. No, said the Xalorian. He was never asleep. He was buried. A sudden explosion echoed above. The vault shook. One of the platforms cracked apart, and debris fell like meteors. A warning siren, low, harmonic, sounded across the chamber. Commander, REX said, a hostile vessel has breached the outer shell. You need to evacuate. I'm too deep, she muttered. There's no way out. The Xalorian stepped forward, extending its hand. There is a path, but only if you trust me. Ayla hesitated. Why help me? Because the covenant is broken, the being said. But the legacy is not. We do not all serve Varuun. Some of us still remember who we were. He turned to the nearest wall and placed his hand against a panel. Glyphs appeared, rippling outward in concentric rings. A corridor opened, smooth, black, leading downward into firelight. You seek to stop what is coming, he said. You will need allies. As Ayla stepped toward the corridor, she turned back one last time toward the corrupted key. It pulsed again. For a split second, she heard it. Not in her mind, this time spoken clearly. Come find me, Ayla. And she knew it. Varuun was awake. And he remembered her name. The corridor yawned open before Ayla like the throat of some ancient, breathing machine. Smooth black walls shimmered faintly, pulsing with that same soft blue light she'd seen in the vault's veins. Each step down felt heavier than the last, not because of gravity, but history. This place was saturated with purpose, as if it remembered every footfall, every whisper, every betrayal. Behind her, the vault quaked again. Faint screams echoed in the distance, not of pain, but of awakening. The Xalorians were rising faster now, some stumbling as if drunk with time, others fully alert. And above them, the corrupted fleet climbed ever higher, rising like blood from the heart of Vega 9.